Today I'd like to show you a brief tutorial of Padware 2 and the new interface that was developed. This is a great asset for us as a laboratory to be able to bring everything, all that entered data that is in your LIMS system across into Padware 2, which then will be uploaded to Dweller. Why do the redundancy of re-entering everything that is in your LIMS system in either Padware 2 or Dweller? Padware 2 has great advantages, time-saving advantages to enter your data manually, but bringing it out of the LIMS system that has already had all those data logged in is a great advantage and a great time-saving for the laboratory. Where we want to do is do a brief summary. We have a very detailed CD for you to look at if you want more detail as you think about working with the interface. So what we're going to do is briefly show you, quickly go through the different steps, and then as you need more detail, we would refer you to this longer CD that we have for you to use. No matter what you look at, the brief overview here or the detailed one, use the bars that fast forward or rewind or stop or pause so that you can get to where you want to very quickly and use it as a tutorial. So I'm going to go to the LIMS, and this is where we start. This is where all your samples that are logged in, of course, goes into the LIMS system. What makes these samples be able to be drawn out with a query is we use the matrix. You can set things up differently in your LIMS system, but we use the matrix. You can see that we have drinking water, but we have drinking water reportable. Our receptionist and director there knows which samples as they come in are drinking water reportable. She uses this matrix. She chooses that matrix for drinking water reportable. And then there are a couple other fields that are used for communication with the interface. The sample ID, which you can place 3-digit location code in, such as 141. You can place an abbreviated monitoring period here, and a sample type, such as E for entry point, M, other entry point sample types. That's under sample ID, and then under our location, we enter the 7-digit public water supply ID. That's the way it helps in mapping. You place the 7-digit public water supplier, then automatically it is mapped in the interface. Okay, so once it's entered, it has the matrix there. Then we do a query that pulls that out. We do it monthly. We go to Windows. In our LIMS system, Padware 2, it depends how your LIMS programmer will set this up. We do an import sample data by date. We're going to do March. So I want 03/01. And then we want the end of the month, which is 03/31. Now, it'll be running a query down here, pulling that up. You're about to bring in 66 rows, yes. And there's all the data for the month of March brought into you that was logged in under Drinking Water Reportable with a collect date from the beginning of March to the end of March. And so what we do then, we have this. This is going to create a CSV file. We export the data to Padware 2. We click on that, and that creates a CSV file here in this temp file. Again, your LIMS programmer can place it wherever you so desire. Our LIMS programmer took them about 30 to 45 minutes to set this up. It's a great way of pulling all this information out, and it's not very expensive or time-consuming to set it up with your LIMS. This is the CSV file that our LIMS has exported, and so we're going to pick that just to show that that is where it's at. Now, we go back into Padware 2, we go Data, and we're going to import data from LIMS. Do you ever get a new file? Yes. Identify where that file, and we're going to go where I showed you there. We're going to go to our O drive, and we're going to go to the temp file, and we're going to choose this file right here. And we'll open, and we have that file right here. Now we're going to import the file, and data imported successfully. You'll see these steps here. Some are colored green, meaning that that's all been taken care of. Again, we've used this for 3 or 4 months, and the mapping has been done, so it doesn't take hardly any time at all to use the interface. Your first several times through, there'll be some mapping that you'll have to accomplish. Step 2 is remove from staging, getting rid of the samples that you do not want to put into Padware 2 and then upload to Dweller. You can do large amounts of ones. You can select like this. By using the Shift key, you can use your Control. In this way, Control getting rid of a lot of samples that you don't want to have in here if that's the case. You can alphabetize. You can look at all your parameters. You can see here they're all total chlorine and total coliform samples, so those we won't be deleting any at all. Here is step 3A. This is your map your LIMS customers to the DP 7-digit public water supply ID. Just by taking this off, I can show you that these ones have already been mapped. As I showed you before, these are mapped automatically if you have these 7-digit IDs here in this column. And again, those don't have to be entered every time because in the LIMS systems, as they are logged in, they'll be cloning from previous samples or previous templates. So as you click on these, back here I can get rid of this red color by going back and say, yep, I got taken care of all the ones that I want to delete, and clicking on that, and that turns green. Go to step 3B, we're talking about parameters to DEP with a 4-digit parameter code. And as we look at those, we can see these 4-digit parameter codes. Mapping is done down here in each one of these pages by putting in different the codes of ones that you don't have mapped. Again, if you want to know more about this, you can look at our detailed CD that we've made, and I'll be glad to send that to you. Step 3C is the 3-digit method code, and you can see here when we click this off, the 3-digit method codes are here, and then on to step 3D is your 3-digit location codes. And again, as you put them in, as I explained at the beginning, when you put them in a couple of those columns that are available for input information, they come right into here. And why nothing is showing up here right now is because we do not have any SDW1s or SW4s. They're all ones that will be showing up on an SWS. Step 4, this is a great place for assigning all the monitoring periods. It comes in monthly. You can see here everything is done default as monthly, and then you just pick the ones that you want to change to the monitoring period. I look in here, alphabetize them. I know a few of these ones here real quick. Eagles Ridge Golf Club is quarterly, so I will pick first quarter mapping. I know down here a little further, purchase line schools, all the schools are quarterly, so I will use my Shift key and change that, map that. You can see it's taken care of there. Step 5 is nothing showing up here because the only ones that show up here is a positive total coliform. If you have a positive total coliform, there'll be check samples that need to be associated back to the positive sample, and this is what this page does. And when you've taken care of that, they can process the data, and you can see how very quickly you can step through these different steps very quickly. It's a great help. I mean, just think, no paperwork. You have to gather around your computer. Everything is just drawn from the LIMS systems. What a time savings that is. It's going to fill out all the SWS forms for us. It's been successfully imported. You say, okay, we're going to close this. We're going to go to data. We're going to go to the review data page to look at all the information that was brought in. What we do, we come here. We know that they're all SDWS forms. We click on here. They have not been exported up to Dweller yet, so we're going to look at them right here. Here's all the samples brought in, ready for upload to Dweller. If you want to look at them here, you can alphabetize them here. You can look at the forms. You can batch print all these. These forms have your monitoring period on them.